Hey there, Capricorn. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your general reading for 2026. Your first row is going to represent what major opportunities to look out for this year. You have this dragon card. It says strength and wisdom. You have this winds of change. It says your surroundings will undergo a transition. You've been getting these cards of like some sort of change of location or a change in your life. Again, I'm not saying that you absolutely have to move or anything, Capricorn. You do have the world, which is your card, but definitely could represent a move. But even you don't have to move is what I'm trying to spit out here, right? This could just be you getting a new job, or you working in a new environment, or you even upgrading your home. I think all those things are a possibility, and I do feel that that can have a big impact on our lives. Like if we refresh our home, even if we don't move, it can make us feel better. It can make us feel a certain way. So I'm a big fan of doing anything that supports your feelings, right? And whatever that could be. So go for it, Capricorn, is what I would say. You have the Eight of Cups, the World, and the Page of Pentacles. The Eight of Cups is about walking away from things that no longer serve you. He is walking away from something. He's walking away from those 8 cups, right? I always say that those 8 cups do provide him with something, but it's not right. So he's choosing, he's basically choosing not to settle by walking away. So I feel a lot of you could be choosing to no longer settle for less than you deserve. And this could be in any area of your life. I mean, really, I think it's multiple. Again, we're looking at each one of these cards is going to be an opportunity. So, this is an opportunity that you have to cut stuff out that no longer serves you. And, but I always say, like, the best energy we can use with the Eight of Cups is to claim something. Without realizing it, he is claiming what he really wants, right? How many people do you know? And you've probably done this yourself. I've done this myself as well, so I'm far from perfect. But, it's like I've stayed in situations that I knew were not right at the time. Work, business, relationships, and everything you can possibly imagine, right? And so the Eight of Cups, when we walk away from something that we know isn't right, and we have the, we're brave enough to do it, right? Because normally we don't walk away from things because we don't want to be alone, we don't want to lose something, whatever. When we're brave enough to do that, we are basically claiming something better. We're telling the universe, no, I want something better. And so I would claim it here, Capricorn. You have the World, which again is your card, which is great whenever you show up as yourself. It puts you in a position of power and strength. Now, this makes a lot of sense because I do feel that you are being asked to finish things this year. Again, we're going to have Saturn and Neptune moving back into Aries by the middle of February. Neptune will be in January. Saturn will be February 13th or something. And, again, that energy wants us to see things through to the end. The World is an accomplishment, an achievement, or completing something. So I feel that a lot of you could be completing things that you haven't finished yet. One thing I will say here, Capricorn, is like, let's say you've worked on 10 projects over the last 10 years. It's not, I don't think this is saying you're going to pick one of those projects and finish it. You might actually pick all 10, mix them all together, and create something unique, out of multiple things, if that makes sense. So, I kind of feel that for you, where it's not necessarily like you're picking an old idea or something that you used to want to do. It's more of like a collection of energy is how I'm seeing it. So, again, this could be kind of like a combination of things that you're mixing together and completing. And I like that for sure. You have the Page of Pentacles. So Page of Pentacles is communication, and definitely now that Pluto has entered into Aquarius officially in 2025, but it's going to kind of really get going in 2026 anyway. You have the opportunity to speak up here, Capricorn. So this could be you saying the things you want to say, could be you getting attention or standing out at work, or you being more talkative at work. I don't know. I just feel like this is you talking. So you're going to be a little bit of a motor mouth this year, probably. And I would say that, again, Uranus and Gemini can bring out the inner motor mouth in all of us. So that makes perfect sense. I'm a Gemini moon. I never stop talking. I literally do it for a living. When I stop doing this, I live alone now. I talk to myself all day long. So never stop, right? And I think that as a collective, we're all probably going to start doing that because Uranus and Gemini. There you go. But what I would say is I would make sure that the things you're talking about are positive, especially if you're talking to yourself like a crazy person like me. With the Eight of Cups, you have this health card. Could be some health improvements for those of you that want to make health improvements. Pluto is always very challenging, I think, health-wise, just in general. Especially when it's in your house. Sometimes, it can kind of bring up hidden health issues. It can bring up, hidden health concerns, things like that. I also we have experienced some difficult placements with the astrology with Pluto over the past several years that are maybe a little bit more difficult than normal. And so, if you're trying to fix something health-wise, you could be getting to the bottom of health issues. With the World card, you have this drama card. I would ignore the drama. Again, if you're standing out more, there's going to be more drama. It's like the more you stand out, the more people, will attack you and things like that. I would just ignore it. I do feel we are kind of entering into a time of drama. Again, Saturn, Neptune, and Aries. Plus the world's going crazy, so, I would just don't feed into it as much as possible, and I feel that will be a good thing for you. Maintain your own peace is what I should say. With the Page of Pentacles, you have this escape card. It's like, I feel like you need a moment. I think you need moments of escape. So this could be like meditation time, or going for a walk time, or doing something you enjoy time. But I almost feel this is and I feel like I said this to you recently, Capricorn, but it's like, if I were you, I would schedule it. I would say, every day at noon, I'm going to go hide in the closet and meditate, or, you know what I mean? It's like, I would have some sort of escape. I feel, I almost, normally this would be a bad card, not necessarily bad, but it would be, it kind of would say you're trying to escape from things, but I feel this card is saying you need an escape. You need you should have something that is an escape, and I would take advantage of it. But I would use it constructively, like meditation, going for a walk, something like that. Next, we're going to look at your blind spot for 2026. You have this new life card and this yin energy card. Funny that I just said that, because the yin energy card is a passive energy. It's taking advantage of passive energy. And so, like I said, I would use that passive energy constructively. The new life card says you could have a new life. You could really, and this girl here, she's kind of being lifted up on a pedestal. And so I feel you need to finish something, because your first card is the moon. The moon, the fool has to get from here to here, to these mountains. You're a Capricorn. You love climbing mountains. So, I feel it's time for you to finish a project or see something through to the end. It's kind of funny, because it's like, the message I'm getting here for you, Capricorn, is that some of you might not be sure about the commitment you would have to make. Like if you're building a business, or, if you're wanting to commit to your health or something else, you might be thinking to yourself, am I really going to stick with this? And I feel like if you say you will stick with it, you will, right? So, I wouldn't normally say that on the moon, but I do feel like the moon is encouraging you to do something that you stick to and that you see through to the end. And I don't know that this is really a blind spot. I feel it's more of something that you should be doing. Next, again, in the area of blind spots, we have the Four Swords, which is resting, relaxing, recovering, meditating, all those things. I don't really, again, your blind spot compared to everybody else's is really not that big of a deal. I think it's just saying that, and this could actually be a good thing, a good thing, because it could say you're very busy, maybe you're getting a lot done this year, but you need to balance that out, right? So it could be good, bad at the same time. It's good because maybe you're busy and you're doing a lot, which could be great, but it would be bad if you burn yourself out. So, like I said, I think scheduling some time, or just making sure you're doing something every few days or whatever to relax would be a good idea. Next, you have the Seven of Cups. I'm pretty sure you've been getting this with me all of 2025. I'm pretty sure that what I've been saying to you is don't cheat yourself out of something that could be good for you. I would really be careful of the stories that you're telling to yourself. Again, the problem right now, especially in December, is that, if you're watching this in December, today is the 6th, this will be published on the 7th of December. If you're watching it early, the problem is Neptune and Pisces. Neptune and Pisces, we can be delusional, we can imagine something, and then we never do it. And so the Seven of Cups he is telling himself a lot of stories about something that he wants, right? There are good things and bad things in these cups, but the reason the Seven of Cups could be you cheating yourself out of something is that sometimes I think we say, well, clearly I shouldn't go work towards this goal or do this thing because it's not going to work because of this dragon right here. But the thing about the Seven of Cups is we actually don't know. what the outcome is. So we have to be willing to take the risk of trying things and facing fears with the Moon card as well to figure out what will happen if we take action on a goal, or could even be a person for some of you with the Page of Cups. So I would take those risks. With the Moon, you have this resourcefulness card. Yes, I have been saying this to you all year. We are definitely not going to have the resources necessary to accomplish what we're trying to accomplish. And people always say, how can I accomplish it then? Well, you have to do it anyway, no matter what. So I know that's not a good answer, but that's literally the trick of being alive right now, is that we probably don't have the money to start that business, or we probably don't have the knowledge maybe to, get to the next level. But there are things you can do about that. You can go ask people for money. And people always say, I can't ask people for money. And I'm like, well, then you're not going to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. Or we can learn something, right? So we can go educate ourselves. Just because you don't know something doesn't mean you should sit there sucking on your thumb, right? You should probably be learning, educating yourself, doing things. Fortune favors the bold. Saturn in Aries, right? So for the next 2.5 years. And it's not going to stop after that. So, again, there is no other way. And that's what we have to do. With the Four of Swords, we have the Discovery card. It seems to be an amazing year for Discovery. And, we just had that Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius. It retrograded into Scorpio. So, that could be kind of kicking it off. We have Mars square Saturn, Mars in Sag. Then we have Saturn in Pisces on the week of the 8th of December. So it's interesting that we're right before the year starts, we have all this Sag energy, which would be travel, discovery, adventure, things like that. Sometimes I think that the universe gives us a little bit of a clue of what we should be working on. So, travel, adventure, good. With the Seven of Cups, you have this defense card. It's you could be trying to protect yourself too much. And, I'm not saying that boundaries are a bad thing, but I would definitely open up to whatever your Seven of Cups dream is, because it's probably more possible than you realize. Next, we are going to look at your next right step in 2026, or at the beginning. You have the Shapeshifter card. It says Mystique, Transformation, and Power. You have this Companion. It says Loyal, Devoted, Courageous, and Friend. Your next row is going to represent love, but it's kind of funny that you have love in this row. So, that could be your next right step is a love connection or a companion. It doesn't even have to be love. It could be, a friend or a mentor or something like that. I definitely think that you are in this time of transformation or being a shapeshifter, kind of turning into what you actually are, or who you are deep down inside. And, a lot of you could be kind of rebirthing at this time, I feel, with these two cards. You have the Emperor, the Knight of Wands, and the Page of Cups. Again, the Emperor just gives me the vibes that you need to be calling the shots this year. You need to be the leader. You are going to be the leader. Pluto has left your sign. Pluto isn't all bad. Pluto is where we get our power. So for 20 years, you've been learning, 19 years, whatever, right? You've been learning from Pluto. Now it's in Aquarius. So now that it's in Aquarius, you are taking everything you learned over the last 19 years and you're implementing it. And so you definitely, out of all the signs, have one of the best opportunities to really become very powerful in your life. And this could be in any area of your life that you desire. And I would take advantage of it. I would also say that you could be attracting an Emperor. You have the Knight of Wands, more adventure. We see a ton of adventure cards in this reading here, Cap. So there could be a lot of travel going on for you this year, and that would make a lot of sense. I always say I have a ton of Capricorn in my chart, and I already have 5 books tripped for five trips booked for next year already. And so you'll see me recording videos all over the place next year. And this year I didn't go anywhere at all. Period. Actually, at the beginning of the year, I made it a point to say I am not getting on airplanes, I'm not traveling, and we saw a lot of airplane crashes this year. There you go. But what I would say here is that 2026 could be good for you to make moves, to move around, to travel. But like I said, this doesn't even have to be physical. This could be mental. You could be learning new skills. You could be educating yourself on a new topic. You could be going on a local adventure. But, adventure, variety, those things are going to be very valuable, and I would take advantage of it. You have the Page of Cups here. Again, could be love, could be an admirer. Your next row is going to represent love, but still, it could be a step that you're taking. One other thing I will say is that the Page of Cups is a dream. He has this fish in the cup, so your next right step could be to take a step towards your dream life or something that you're dreaming of. With the Emperor, you have the status card. If you are finding love, could be a person of status, or you could be getting status through that person. It seems to me like you are increasing your status, just in general. Like I just said, you're gaining more power, and I would take advantage of that. Of course, we want to do this in a positive way. Like I've said a million times, we are seeing old power structures die. So the old way of being successful by hurting people and doing bad things, it's not going to work anymore, luckily. And the new way is going to be through being an inspiration, being positive, being a good person, right? So there you go. With the Knight of Wands, you have this choice card. I feel like you just need to make choices. Seven of Cups. It's too much thinking. It's too much mental energy. I feel this is saying whether you're right or wrong. Being a decision maker, even if you make wrong decisions, eventually you make right decisions. But being a decision maker, I always find, is much, much better than just overthinking everything. I think school has trained us all that if we get something wrong, that it's bad. But trust me, I fell on my head when I was 10 years old. And after that, I became a D student literally overnight, never changed. And I just make a lot of mistakes. So I fail a lot, and probably a lot more than most people. But the thing that has made me successful is I just keep going, and I don't worry about it. And, I would just make those choices. Let's see. With the Page of Cups, you have this decision card. You could be trying to make a decision about love, like whether you want it or not. So, I would make that choice and just, kind of go from there. I really have nothing to add to that. So there you go. Next, in the area of love, you have this Time is Up card. It says no second chances, no revisiting. There's something better waiting. There you go. Definitely a new person if you want love. You have this overcoming challenges. It says a triumph will bring great changes. Let yourself be open to victory, which is good. So, by the way, if you don't want love, that's fine too. This row could represent something, and for all of you, even if you do want love, it could just be representing something that you will love. So definitely could, you have a lot of stuff here that would be overcoming a challenge. You have that Poised card or whatever it said. It said New Life, where she's sitting on a pedestal. You have the World. So these are great cards for kind of like coming out on top, and you could be coming out on top here. You start here with yourself, the Devil, the Page of Swords, and the Nine of Swords. The Devil is technically Saturn in Capricorn, but it could also just be Capricorn, your energy showing up here. The Devil, I do feel, is encouraging you to set yourself free from something. I'm hearing procrastination, so that might only be for some of you. But if you feel like you are procrastinating, then definitely something I would pay attention to. The other thing that's standing out to me that I never pay attention to is we have this upside down pentagram on top of the Devil. The upside down pentagram represents satanic inversion. It's like the lie becomes the truth becomes the lie. Even though Neptune is leaving Pisces, I don't care. Neptune's a very slow moving planet. I still think we need to be careful of illusions next year. I said it back in like 2016. I started going live on this channel. You can go back to my old lives. I used to say it all the time. That Neptune and Pisces, I do not believe anything, period. I don't believe the news. I don't believe any official stories or any BS that people are spouting. And just that simple. So we need to make sure that we're getting the evidence. Pluto and Aquarius, like one positive, I actually think Pluto and Aquarius is going to be pretty positive overall. But one positive is that I think it's going to make people really examine the evidence, really look at what the truth, not just accept a truth, but to really look for the truth by looking for what the evidence says. And, I think that's a big difference we're going to see. And so I think that's going to be important for you here with this card. You have the Page of Swords. You could have your eye on someone could have their eye on you. I don't know what it is about this year, but pretty much a majority of signs, maybe not everybody, but a lot, have had the Page of Swords in the area of love, which means that for some reason, people are just spying this year and not taking action. So I would say, don't do that. If you're spying on a person, make a move or do something. If they're spying on you, obviously there's nothing you can do, but again, Page of Swords can be like spying in love, so someone has to speak up here. You have the Nine of Swords. I do feel, I've talked to you about it before. I think love has been difficult during Pluto and Aquarius, basically last 20 years for Capricorn. And, the Nine of Swords is about getting out of a story. Nine of Swords is a never-ending nightmare. It's like having a nightmare, waking up, being stuck in a nightmare. But we have to get out of the bed. And we have to realize, he has these blue squares in this blanket here. And those blue squares have astrological symbols inside them. And it kind of represents all the astrology that he's lived through, everything that he's experienced. So the blanket is meant to tell him, like, hey, you've already been through a lot of things. You've learned a lot of lessons. Go apply those lessons. Go have new experiences. So even if you've been hurt in love or had negative experiences, it says you've learned, or you should have learned. And so now you can apply what you learned and you can avoid it in the future, right? Let's see. With the Devil, you have this optimism card. So again, the Devil isn't always bad. And, I do think that optimism is a good energy this year. You have the Knight of Wands, which is a card of optimism sometimes. So I think focusing more on optimism and being optimistic and being excited would be a good energy. If you're trying to attract love, obviously, being a more optimistic person makes you more attractive. Being miserable, sad, angry, none of that works for love. With the Page of Swords, you have this achievement card. You have several cards of achievements here, which is amazing. You have that card that says, let yourself be open to victory, the world. This is the Sun in Capricorn, so, definitely could be an achievement coming in for you. Love could be the achievement. Let's see. With the Nine of Swords, you have this domination card. Yeah, probably control is what you want to avoid in a connection. Devil, Nine of Swords, this card. This can represent the fear of like attracting a person who's trying to control you or something like that. So maybe that's just what you need to pay attention to. If you meet a person, if they seem controlling, they probably are. Stop dating them. Leave them, kick their ass out the door. Plain and simple, right, Capricorn? Next, in the area of the good stuff, right? We're doing this. You have this long road card. It says great distance, long wait, patience, slow growth, development, pathway, long-term planning, nurture, and years. You have this mature woman. It says wise, older, influential woman, a mother figure, good advisor, boss, mentor, teacher. Again, you always get these cards of mentors with me. So, finding mentors at this time might be a good thing. You've definitely been on a long journey, and you could be seeing that light at the end of the tunnel here. And, again, this could be good because you could be ending a long journey. You have the Five of Swords, the Death card, and the Queen of Pentacles. Five of Swords can represent taking a risk or needing to take a risk in the good stuff. And obviously, taking bigger risks is going to be important. Like I say to everyone, Pluto and Aquarius, it's like the thing I think people need to realize about Pluto and Aquarius is we have to make an impact. We have to be an inspiration. To do that, we have to do things that are inspirational, that are impactful. And so I do think we have to take bigger risks, right? Like for the next 19 years, basically. We have to put ourselves out there more. We have to speak up. We have to be bold, assertive, confident, all that. And I believe in you, Capricorn, so there you go. You have this Death card. Big changes. Death has this white rose on his banner, which represents the light at the end of the tunnel. So you are definitely getting close to, something. It could be an accomplishment, an achievement. It could be you closing out cycles, but definitely change, which is good. You show up again in this reading. This reading is all about you, for sure. You have the Queen of Pentacles, which is Capricorn. So whenever you show up as yourself, puts you in a position of power and strength. We don't see much about money here, which is funny. But also, sometimes I think that's good, right? It's like sometimes I think readings that like don't talk a lot about something are basically saying you don't have to worry about it, right? But the Queen of Pentacles is all about multiplication. Definitely a major focus. If I were you, Capricorn, and I basically am, and it's definitely something I'm focusing on right now. I've been focusing on this in 2025 in general. I'm going to continue probably for the next several years. Is focusing on things that multiply, focusing on things where I put a certain amount of energy in and I get more back. That is the key word, right? So if you have things that you do for your health, for your business, for your career, whatever, doing those things is going to be good. With the Five of Swords, you have this indecision card. It's like you're being guided. It's coming up in the good stuff. And we have this angel right over here that's trying to guide this person. So it's like I feel your higher self is guiding you towards making a choice or a decision. With the death card, you have this caution card. It's coming up in the good stuff, but there are all these animals running towards this lady here, and it can represent like too many people coming at you. So maybe a good thing would be putting up boundaries or having boundaries this year. With the Queen of Pentacles, you have this practicality card. Queen of Pentacles is the card of practicality and being very practical. You're a Capricorn. You are very practical. You are very craptical is what I was going to say. So, again, Queen of Pentacles, she probably would keep things simple, just do what works, all that. So I think that would be good for you as well. But this looks pretty amazing here, Capricorn. So thank you for being here. Make sure to leave a comment, and definitely enjoy your year.